Welcome to the Curious Room. I'm really glad you found the door tonight.
Yeah, it was a bit hard to find in the fog out there, wasn't it?
It really was. But come on in. Have a seat. The fire's already crackling.
And these chairs?
Right. They're worn in just the right way. You know, that soft leather that actually holds you rather than just letting you sit on top of it.
It's the best feeling.
It is. And, you know, the world outside can just wait. All of its noise, the deadlines, the traffic, that relentless demand for you to just be productive all the time.
Optimized. Everyone wants to be optimized.
Exactly. Just leave all of that on the coat rack by the door.
Yeah.
This is a space for us to just sit down, take a deep breath, and really look at the things that make us human.
The things that keep us up at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
It really is the best kind of space for this. It feels quiet in here. It's a place to sort of unpack the mental clutter.
I think we all need that.
We do. And tonight we're looking at something that I think, I think every single person listening has felt this, even if they haven't quite found the exact words for it yet.
It's a very specific kind of ache, isn't it?
It is. It's not a sharp pain, exactly. It's more of a dull, heavy resonance.
Like a bell.
Yes, like a bell that was rung 10 minutes ago, but the air is still sort of humming with it.
That is a beautifully accurate way to put it.
Yeah.
So before we even really open the file on this, I want to ask you, the listener, to do something for me.
A little exercise.
Right. Unless you are, driving a car or operating heavy machinery right now, just close your eyes for a second.
Just for a moment.
I want you to conjure up a very specific feeling. Think about that one person.
You probably know exactly who we mean already.
Oh, absolutely. The name that just popped into your head before I even finished the sentence.
Yep.
Maybe it's an ex-partner from years ago.
Mm.
Maybe it's an old best friend you haven't spoken to in, 5 years.
Or maybe someone you almost dated.
Oh, the situationships.
The situationships, where the timing was just never quite right, but the feeling was so heavy.
Yeah. The one where if you hear a certain song on the radio.
Like that one specific track from 2016.
Right. Or something by Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
Or you walk past a coffee shop that uses a very specific type of roasted bean, and you get that physical pang in your chest.
It's completely somatic.
It is.
It's like a little electric shock of memory just hitting your nervous system out of nowhere.
Exactly. That heart drop feeling. It feels like missing a step on the stairs when you're walking in the dark.
That stomach-dropping sensation.
But here is the catch. And this is the paradox we're really doing a deep dive into tonight.
The confusing part.
Right. At the exact same moment your heart does that little flip, your brain is standing there with a clipboard, arms crossed, staring over its glasses and saying,
Absolutely not.
absolutely not. You feel this huge wave of missing them, but, with absolute 100% certainty that you do not want them back in your life.
It is a fascinating paradox. It feels like cognitive dissonance, honestly.
It feels like a betrayal of your own logic.
It does, because we are conditioned by movies, by books, by our friends, to believe that longing is a compass.
A compass, I like that.
We are taught that if we miss something, it means we lack it. It means there's a hole, and we should immediately try to fill it.
Like if you miss them, the movie logic says you have to go get them.
Exactly. Run through the airport. Stop the plane.
Hold the boombox outside their window.
Right. But what we're talking about tonight, this is different. This is what we call silent longing.
Silent longing. I mean, it sounds poetic.
It does.
But in practice, let's be honest, it feels incredibly messy. It feels confusing.
And isolating.
Very. I think a lot of us beat ourselves up over this. We sit there and think, if I am truly over them, why on earth do I miss them so much today?
Or the doubt creeps in.
Yes, the doubt. You think, if I miss them this much, does that mean I made a huge mistake letting them go in the first place?
It introduces doubt right where there should be clarity.
Which is awful.
It is. And that doubt is exactly what we are going to dismantle tonight. We are going to look at the actual anatomy of this longing.
Because we really need to clear the air on this.
We do. I want to be perfectly clear right from the start. Feeling this way does not mean you are weak.
No.
It does not mean you are backsliding. And it certainly does not mean you should pick up your phone and text them.
Step away from the phone.
Put the phone down. It actually means your brain and your heart are doing something very complex, very necessary, and frankly, very scientific.
So our mission for this deep dive is to give you, the listener, the permission to feel this without ordering a side of guilt to go with it.
No guilt allowed in the Curious Room.
None. We're going to walk through why it happens, the actual mechanics of it, why it's not actually about the other person half the time, and why it's actually a sign of massive emotional maturity.
It's a huge sign of growth.
So get comfortable, pour yourself a tea, or whatever you like to drink. Let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Okay, I want to start with the sensation itself, because I think we need to define our terms before we can really analyze anything.
Setting the foundation.
Yeah. When I say missing someone without wanting them back, to me, it feels static.
Static. How so?
Like it's not active. It's like looking at an old photograph. You know what I mean?
I do.
You find an old Polaroid of a vacation you took, say, 10 years ago. You look at it and you smile. You feel the warmth of that sun on your skin. You remember the taste of the cheap wine you bought at the corner store.
You genuinely love that memory.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I do not want to pack my bags right now and go back to that specific Tuesday in 2014.
Right.
I don't want to be that person again. I just like the photo.
That is a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And it brings us to the fundamental distinction we need to make right away.
Which is?
The difference between missing and wanting.
Because they aren't the same thing.
They are not. But in our culture and just in our everyday language, we use them interchangeably all the time.
We really do.
I want you and I miss. You are often whispered in the exact same breath.
Yeah.
But neurologically, emotionally, they are entirely different species. They are operating on completely different circuits in your brain.
How so? Because honestly, to me, they feel like they live in the exact same neighborhood in my brain.
Yeah.
When I miss something, my immediate reaction is that I feel like I want it.
They might be neighbors, but they live in very different houses.
Okay, walk me through the houses.
Think about it this way. Wanting is an action. It's a drive. It is heavily fueled by dopamine.
Okay.
If I want a sandwich, I get up, I go to the kitchen, I get the bread, I make a sandwich.
You get in your car and drive to the deli.
Exactly. Wanting requires a plan. It implies that there is a problem, in this case, hunger, and a specific solution, which is food.
It's forward moving.
Highly forward moving. It's motivational. It creates kinetic energy in your life.
Right. It gets you off the couch. It changes your behavior because it has a goal it's trying to reach.
Precisely. But missing is completely passive. Missing is just a feeling. It's a sensory echo. It is a memory vibrating in the body. You can miss something without having any intention whatsoever of engaging with it again.
Give me an example of that.
Think about your childhood bedroom. You can miss the safety of it, the specific smell of the carpet, maybe those little glow-in-the-dark stars you stuck on the ceiling.
Oh, I had those. I loved those stars.
Most of us did. And you can miss that feeling of being safe under them, but that doesn't mean you want to go sleep in a tiny twin bed at your parents' house tonight and have a 9 p.m. curfew.
Oh, that completely resonates. I miss being 6 years old and having 0 bills to pay.
Who wouldn't?
I miss the entire concept of summer vacation being 3 months of absolutely nothing but grass stains and popsicles.
Yes, it was pure freedom.
But do I actually want to be 6 years old again?
Mm.
Unable to drive, told when to go to bed, and forced to eat like mushy peas?
Definitely not.
No.
Mm.
I value my autonomy way too much. I really like having my own keys to my own front door.
Exactly. You value your current reality far more than you value the nostalgia.
Right.
But when it comes to people, especially people we have loved deeply, we get very confused.
Wires get crossed.
The heart sends out this signal. It says, I am lonely for this specific connection. And the brain, because it is essentially a problem-solving machine, interprets that signal as a call to action.
It says, call them. Fix the loneliness.
Right. The brain says, oh, we're lonely for Sarah. Let's text Sarah. But we have to learn to interrupt that circuit. We need to realize that the feeling of loneliness is very real, but the specific person your brain is offering up as the solution.
That's the problem.
That is a glitch.
A glitch, like a computer error.
It's a retrieval error. Your brain is saying, we need comfort. Who used to provide comfort? Let's call them subject A. It pulls up the file on your ex, subject A.
Okay, I'm following.
But in doing that, the brain is ignoring all the new data. The data that says subject A was actually really toxic, or subject A never listened to you, or subject A wanted completely different things out of life.
So it's offering an outdated solution to a current problem. It's the confusion of the heart. It's like emotions are messy data, and sometimes we just read the graph wrong.
We misinterpret our own signals.
We see a huge spike in sadness on the graph and assume the variable causing it is a lack of our ex. But the variable might just be that it's raining, I had a terrible day at work, I'm tired, and I just need a hug from literally anyone.
That is a brilliant way to put it, Emotions do not always align with logic, and I want everyone listening to hear this. That is okay.
It's okay to be unaligned sometimes.
Yes. You can be incredibly lonely for someone. You can miss the exact way they laughed at your jokes and simultaneously know that they were absolutely terrible for your mental health.
Those two facts can exist in the same room.
They can coexist. It's what psychologists call dialectical thinking.
Dialectical thinking.
It's the ability to hold two opposing truths at the exact same time without trying to force them to agree with each other.
I love the idea of coexistence here.
Yeah.
It stops that internal war we wage against ourselves.
It really does. It brings peace.
I think about the old book analogy a lot when we talk about this.
Oh, share that one.
Have you ever finished a book that you just absolutely loved? Like you lived inside that world for a solid week.
You didn't want to put it down.
You loved the characters.
Yeah.
You cared about them. And then you turn the last page. You close the book. You put it up on the shelf.
And you feel that profound sense of loss.
Yeah.
A book hangover.
A massive book hangover. You miss them. You miss walking around in their world. But you don't necessarily want to open the book and read all the sad, stressful chapters over again.
Right.
You don't want to go through the conflict again. You just miss how it felt to be completely immersed in the story.
Yes. You miss the experience of the narrative. You might even just miss who you were when you were reading it.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe you were on vacation while reading it, or maybe you just felt really relaxed that week. But you know the story is done.
The ending is written.
Rereading it won't change the ending. The characters aren't going to suddenly do anything new. Opening the book again doesn't give you a new story. It just replays the old one.
And you already know how that one ends.
Yeah.
Usually with heartbreak.
Exactly.
Or there's the hometown analogy we touched on when we were prepping for this session. I think this one hits incredibly hard for people who have moved away from where they grew up.
It's a very universal feeling.
You drive back into your hometown. Maybe you're visiting for the holidays. You drive past your old high school, the park where you had your first kiss, the diner you and your friends used to hang out in until midnight.
And you get this massive, sweeping wave of nostalgia.
It almost physically hurts.
It's a visceral pull. It is familiarity. It's your brain recognizing all these old patterns and saying, safe, known, this is home.
But then you stop the car. You get out and look around. You see the cracks in the sidewalk. You realize how incredibly small the town square actually is compared to how you remembered it.
It shrinks.
It does. And you ask yourself, could I really live here again?
And for a lot of people, the answer is a hard, resounding no.
No way. You have completely outgrown it. You are a different person now with a different life. You just don't fit into that small box anymore.
The town didn't change. You did.
Exactly.
And that is exactly what happens with ex-partners or old friends. They are human hometowns.
Human hometown.
We visit them in our minds and we feel that intense nostalgia. We remember the familiar streets, the emotional shortcuts we used to take with them, the comfort of being known.
But we have to remember we can't live there anymore.
We've outgrown the relationship. The house is simply too small for who we are now. The ceilings are too low.
Human hometowns. I'm writing that down on my mental whiteboard right now. That is such a powerful image. It creates this really gentle permission to visit the memory, but not stay.
You can just be a tourist in your own memory.
Be a tourist, take the photos, buy the little souvenir magnet,
Yeah.
but make sure you catch your flight home.
Do not sign a lease in the past.
Do not sign a lease. Okay, so if we establish that we are just tourists, why do we keep pulling out the photos? Why does the brain keep bringing these files up when we are trying to move forward?
Well, we have to talk about the highlight reel.
Oh, the highlight reel. Because my brain is a very, very dishonest editor. It's like it's running a full-time PR campaign for my ex.
It is a protective editor, but yes, it is highly biased. When we look back at our relationship, especially one that ended a fair amount of time ago, let's say 6 months to a year plus, the brain engages in something called the fading effect bias.
Fading effect bias. Okay, that sounds very clinical. Break that down for us.
Essentially, the negative emotions that are attached to your memories fade much faster than the positive emotions do.
Really?
Yes, it is an evolutionary survival mechanism.
How does that help us survive?
Think about it. If we remembered the physical agony of childbirth, or the sheer terror of hunting and starving in the winter, or the total exhaustion of building a shelter from scratch, with the exact same visceral intensity as the joy of the feast, or the baby laughing.
We would never do anything again.
Exactly. We would be completely paralyzed by trauma. We'd never have a second child. We'd never leave the cave.
Wow.
So the brain basically bleaches the bad stuff faster. It keeps the lesson learned, but it aggressively dulls the pain of the memory.
So we remember that gorgeous sunset walk on the beach, but we completely forget that 5 minutes before that walk, we were having a vicious screaming match in the car about directions.
Exactly. Your brain strips away the context. It keeps the sunset file because it's pleasant, it promotes bonding, it promotes reproduction.
And the argument.
It archives the argument file deep in the basement because recalling it causes you physiological stress. It's the safety of distance.
The safety of distance.
When you are standing right next to a raging fire, all you know is that it burns, it is hot, it is dangerous, and you need to back away immediately. Your survival instinct is screaming danger.
Because you're getting burned.
Right. But when you are a mile away, looking back at that same fire on a dark hill,
It just looks like a warm, glowing light.
it looks inviting.
That is profound. So the distance literally changes the data we are processing. The fire itself hasn't changed at all. It would still burn me if I walked up and touched it today.
Yes.
But my perception of it has shifted simply because I am safe now.
Correct. The safety you feel right now in the present allows you to romanticize the danger you were in back then. So when you look back at that person, you are not seeing the reality of the miserable Tuesday night arguments or the deep feeling of being ignored.
You're just seeing the glow.
You are seeing the warmth, and that makes you miss them. But you have to realize you are missing a highly curated version of them. You are missing the movie trailer, not the actual 2-hour movie.
It's the rose-tinted glasses,
Yeah.
but on an extreme level. It's like we photoshopped the entire relationship in our heads. We have airbrushed out all the glaring red flags and just left the cute, candid moments.
We absolutely have, and this leads to a really crucial realization. We often do not miss the person as they truly were. We miss the version of them that we created.
The version we wanted them to be.
Yes. Or, even more accurately, we miss the role they played in our lives.
The role. Unpack that for me, because when I feel this, I really feel like I miss them. Specifically, I miss their specific jokes. I miss the way they smelled. I miss the way they always knew my coffee order without asking.
You miss the sensory details, sure, that's the texture of the memory. But think about the structural shape of your life.
Okay.
Imagine your life is a room with furniture in it.
I'm picturing it.
When you are with someone, they occupy a very specific chair in that room. They become the person I call when something incredibly good happens.
Right.
They are the person who holds me when I'm crying. They are the automatic +1 to every wedding. They are the emergency contact on your medical forms.
They fill all those slots.
When they leave, the person is gone, yes. But the chair is still sitting right there in the room. It is an empty chair in the room of your life.
And human beings absolutely hate empty chairs. Nature abhors a vacuum.
We despise them. It feels profoundly unstable. So when something good happens at work, you reach for your phone. That is a reflex.
Muscle memory.
And when you pull out your phone and realize you can't call them, you feel that sharp pang of missing them.
It hits you all over again.
But you have to ask yourself, are you missing them, specifically the person who maybe actually didn't listen to you that well, or who always managed to make your good news about themselves?
Right.
Or are you simply missing the feeling of having anyone in that chair to witness your life?
We miss the connection, not the connector.
Bingo. We project the memory of the ex-person into that empty chair simply because they happen to be the last person who sat there.
It's just a placeholder effect.
Exactly. You miss intimacy, you miss being known, you miss having a witness to your daily life. And those are incredibly valid, deeply human needs.
Absolutely.
But it does not mean you need that specific person back to fill the chair. In fact, keeping their ghost sitting in that chair is exactly what prevents anyone new from coming in and sitting down.
That distinction is so freeing. It completely separates the core need from the specific person. It's like being dying of thirst and thinking you specifically need a very certain brand of discontinued soda from 1999.
Yes.
No, you're just thirsty. You can drink water. You can drink tea. You just need hydration. You don't need the discontinued soda.
Exactly. But because we don't talk about this openly, because we feel a lot of guilt for still thinking about them, we keep it entirely silent. That is why we call it silent longing.
Because if you say it out loud, people panic.
Think about it. If you tell your friends over brunch, I really miss my ex today, what do they immediately say?
Oh, they go straight into crisis mode. Don't do it.
Uh-huh.
They were terrible for you. Block their number, hand over your phone right now.
Right.
They think I'm about to make a massive mistake. They think I'm actively steering the car off a cliff.
They go into high alert protection mode because they equate missing with backsliding.
Which we just learned is not the same thing.
It's not. But because of their reaction, you stop talking about it. You carry the weight of it entirely alone. And that secrecy, that shame, it makes the feeling so much heavier.
Shame is like mold. It grows in the dark.
It really does. But in this room, the curious room, we're saying, speak it out loud, admit it. Say, I miss them.
I miss them.
It doesn't mean you are going to text them. It just means you are a human being and you have a memory.
It's the relief of just admitting it. Like, wow, I really miss how they made breakfast on Sundays. It's perfectly okay to say that.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you want to marry them again or undo their terrible communication skills. It just means the pancakes were good.
And there is another layer to this, a much deeper one, a slightly more uncomfortable one, if I'm being totally honest.
Oh, bring it on. I am ready for uncomfortable. Let's dig into it.
Sometimes when we miss them, we aren't actually looking at them at all. We are looking in a mirror.
Ooh. Okay. This is getting deep. Relationships as mirrors.
Yeah.
What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, think about who you were when you were with that specific person. Let's say this was a relationship from your early 20s, or maybe a high school or college sweetheart.
Okay, I'm picturing it. I was a lot more energetic, for one.
Naturally.
I was a little more naive. I really thought I could conquer the world.
Yeah.
I had terrible fashion sense, a lot of neon colors, a lot of really bad haircuts. But I was hopeful. I was basically unscarred by the world.
Right. You had this profound sense of limitless potential. You didn't have the heavy responsibilities you carry now.
Not at all.
You didn't have the mortgage, the chronic back pain, the cynicism, the career stress keeping you up at night.
Hey, speak for yourself on the back pain. But yes, I totally get it. I was just lighter,
Yeah.
physically and emotionally lighter.
When you think of that ex today, your brain automatically links them to that specific time period in your life. They become a living time capsule.
A bookmark.
Yes, a bookmark in the story of your life. So when you feel that deep ache of missing them, often what you actually missing is that past version of you.
Whoa. So I am not missing John or Sarah. I'm actually missing the me who was 22 and felt like absolutely anything was possible.
Yes. You are visiting your younger self. That relationship is just the doorway your brain uses to get back there.
That is fascinating.
You miss the innocence. You miss the lack of cynicism. You miss the way you felt about yourself when you were with them.
Because they reflected that back to you.
Exactly. Maybe they made you feel beautiful or incredibly funny or smart in a way you haven't felt lately. You miss the specific reflection they gave you.
That makes so much sense. It's a form of grieving your own personal history. Is it narcissism disguised as romance?
I wouldn't call it narcissism at all. I would call it self-preservation.
Go up.
We shed skins as we grow older, and sometimes we look back at those old, lighter skins and we just wish we could fit into them again for a day. The person you dated is just a symbol of that era.
Like a song from high school.
Perfect example. You don't necessarily think Wonderwall is the greatest piece of musical genius ever composed.
I mean, it is pretty catchy, you have to admit.
It is very catchy, but you love it so much because it instantly transports you back to being 16, driving your very first car with the windows rolled down on a Friday night.
The song hasn't changed?
No, but what it represents to you is pure freedom.
Hmm.
The X is the song. They are just the soundtrack to a time you can never physically get back to.
This really shifts the focus entirely back to us. It makes it so much less about the other person being the one that got away and much more about the me that went away.
Exactly. And that links directly to the loss of identity we feel after a breakup. When a relationship ends, we don't just lose a partner, we lose an entire lifestyle.
The routines.
We lose the routines, we lose the concept of we.
The really small things. The inside jokes that no one else understands. The text you sent every single morning at exactly 8:00 a.m.
The micro habits.
Yeah, the specific way you always ordered pizza on Friday nights. The TV show you strictly only watched together, and now you can't watch it alone.
The human brain loves patterns. It absolutely craves them. It builds these massive neural highways for the sake of efficiency.
So we don't have to think as hard.
Right. When you are with someone for a long time, you build thousands of tiny neural pathways. Wake up, reach for phone, text them good morning.
See a funny meme on social media, immediately send it to them.
Friday night arrives, assume we are getting pizza. When the relationship ends, the person is gone, but those actual physical pathways are still sitting there in your brain.
But the destination is closed.
Exactly. It's like a phantom limb.
A phantom limb. You mean like when someone loses an arm but still feels pain in their fingers?
It is exactly like that. The nerves are still actively firing. Your brain sends the routine signal send meme, and when it hits a sudden dead end, the brain registers that disruption as pain.
It registers as missing them.
Yes. But again, this is purely biological. It is not some grand emotional destiny. It is just a broken habitual pattern. It's a road closed sign on a highway you used to drive every day.
I think that is incredibly comforting. To know that the sudden urge to text them on a Tuesday afternoon isn't fate telling me we belong together forever.
It's really not.
It's literally just my neurons firing down an old road that is currently under construction. It's just mechanical.
It is purely mechanical in that specific sense.
Mhm.
And recognizing that fact takes all the scary power away from the feeling.
You can just observe it.
Exactly. You can observe the urge. You can say, oh, look at that. My brain wants to send that meme because it's 2 p.m. and I'm bored. And you can say, oh, that's just a broken pattern.
Rather than spiraling into a panic of, oh my God, I must still be deeply in love. I made a huge mistake. I need to fix this right now.
Speaking of mistakes, let's transition and talk about the really heavy hitters now. Grief versus regret.
Oh, this is a big one. Because I feel like this is where people really get stuck in the mud. I catch myself thinking, if I miss them this intensely today, maybe I messed up. Maybe I shouldn't have ended it.
That is the most common trap people fall into, the regret loop. And we have to make a very sharp, very clear distinction here. Grief is not regret.
They feel so similar, though.
They feel nearly identical in the physical body. They are both heavy, sinking, sad feelings in your gut. They both make you want to just lie face down on the floor and not move.
But they tell two different stories.
Very different story.
Okay, separate them for us. How do I actually know which one I am feeling in the moment?
Regret is cognitive. It is a thought process. It is the distinct thought, I made a mistake, I should have done something differently, I want to change the past.
What's wanting a do-over?
Yes, regret is active wishing for a redo. It is constantly looking backward and trying to rewrite the script of what happened.
Okay, got it. And grief.
Grief is simply the profound sadness that something is over. Grief is the pure acceptance of loss.
Acceptance.
Yes, you can know with 100% logical certainty that ending a relationship was the absolute right decision for your life. You can know they were awful for you. You can know you are vastly happier now.
And you can still grieve the loss.
You can still grieve it deeply.
You can grieve a relationship that needed to end.
Absolutely. In fact, you should. You have to. Because even a terrible relationship took up significant space in your life.
It had hopes attached to
It
it.
had a lot of time and energy invested in it. When it ends, you have to mourn it. But, and this is the key, mourning, it does not mean you want to revive it.
That's a difference.
You grieve a death, but you don't necessarily try to perform necromancy and bring the person back to life. You just accept that they are gone.
That is such a powerful validation. I think we often feel like if we are sad about a breakup, we are somehow admitting defeat, or we are accidentally admitting that the relationship was actually really good.
But you're not. You're just admitting loss. Loss is sad, regardless of what was lost.
And often we aren't even really mourning the reality of the relationship anyway, right?
Very true. This brings us to the phantom future concept. We are usually mourning the what could have been.
The phantom future. The alternate timeline that just got permanently deleted.
Yes. When you commit to someone, you immediately start building a mental map of the future together.
We will go to this wedding next summer. We're going to buy a house in this neighborhood.
We will have 2 kids. We will grow old sitting on a wraparound porch.
And plan it all out.
When you break up, you don't just lose the partner sitting next to you in the present moment. You lose that entire elaborate imaginary future.
You lose the porch.
You lose the porch, you lose the imaginary kids, you lose the trips you planned.
It's like mourning a beautiful vacation you spent months booking, but then you never actually took.
Yes, the vacation was never real. You never actually stepped foot on the plane or saw the beach. But the disappointment you feel when it's canceled is incredibly real.
You are grieving a total fantasy.
And that is often so much harder than grieving the actual reality, because the fantasy was flawless.
Of course it was.
In the fantasy future, you never fought about money. In the fantasy future, they magically changed all their bad habits. In the fantasy future, they finally started going to therapy and communicating.
Oh, that is so dangerous. The fantasy's undefeated. Reality simply cannot compete with what could have been.
Never.
Reality has dirty dishes in the sink and bad moods after work. Fantasy has perfect sunset lighting and total harmony all the time.
Correct. So when you find yourself sitting there missing them, you need to ask yourself the really hard question. Am I missing who they actually were on a random Tuesday night when they were ignoring me to play video games?
Or am I missing the fantasy of who I desperately wanted them to become?
That is the million-dollar question. Am I missing the reality or the potential?
I think for a huge majority of us, it is the potential. We fell in love with a ghost of the future.
And letting go of that beautiful ghost is the absolute final step of the grieving process. It is firmly accepting that potential is not reality. You cannot date potential.
No, you can't.
You have to date the actual flawed person standing right in front of you.
Which brings us beautifully to the growth aspect of this.
Yeah.
Because this whole conversation, missing someone without wanting them back on the surface, it sounds quite sad.
It sounds a bit melancholic.
But you mentioned earlier in the session that it is actually a massive sign of health. How is sitting alone in a room missing an ex a sign of health?
It is the ultimate sign of emotional health. Really think about what it requires from you.
Okay.
To intensely miss someone, to feel that deep biological chemical pull, to reach out to them, and yet to stand completely firm, hold your ground, and say, no, I am not going back.
That takes a lot of restraint.
It takes immense executive function. That takes incredible internal strength.
It is self-preservation finally winning the battle over loneliness.
Exactly. It means your personal boundaries are finally stronger than your temporary sadness.
Wow.
It means you have truly learned to prioritize your long-term well-being over your immediate short-term comfort.
Because it would be so easy to just go back.
It is always easy to go back. It is so easy to send the late-night texts. It is easy to fall right back into those old familiar arms because, well, it's known territory.
It's the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
It's the fast food of relationships. It totally fills you up for an hour, but you feel absolutely terrible the next morning.
But staying away, sitting quietly with the silence, facing that empty chair in your room, and actively refusing to fill it with the wrong person just to stop the ache.
That is real courage.
That is courage. That is profound growth. That is you standing up and saying, I value myself more than I value the temporary comfort of a warm body that isn't actually right for me.
That is incredibly beautiful. It completely reframes the pain. It's almost like, it's like growing pains.
It is.
It is the literal physical feeling of your own standards rising.
It really is. I always like to use the metaphor of a scar for this.
Yeah.
We are usually so afraid of scars, but scars are just tangible evidence of healing.
Walk us through the scar metaphor.
When you get a deep cut on your arm, it hurts terribly. It bleeds. It demands your immediate attention. You have to clean it. You have to bandage it.
That's the actual breakup.
That's the breakup. That's the chaotic, painful, immediate aftermath. But eventually, given enough time, the wound closes. The tissue nets itself back together, and you are left with the scar.
And a scar is there forever. It doesn't tan in the sun. It always looks a little different than the rest of your skin.
It might be there for the rest of your life. You can look down at the scar on your arm and remember exactly how you got it. You can remember the sharp pain. You can remember the specific event.
But the scar itself doesn't hurt when you press on it anymore.
Exactly. It doesn't hurt. It's just a mark on your skin. It is simply part of your map now.
So missing someone without wanting them back, that is just like looking at the scar.
Yes. You just acknowledge it. You say, that happened. That person meant something very real to me. They left a lasting mark.
But I'm not bleeding anymore.
Right. It is completely okay to carry the memory of someone without carrying the heavy weight of the actual relationship. You do not have to erase them completely to be over them.
You don't have to erase them to be over them. I feel like someone listening really, really needed to hear that exact sentence right now.
I hope they did.
Because we live in this sort of eternal sunshine of the spotless mind culture where we think moved on means complete amnesia.
We do.
Like, if I still think about them fondly on a Thursday afternoon, I have somehow failed at moving on.
It doesn't mean failure at all. It just means you have a history. We are the sum of all our experiences. Every person you have ever loved, every friend you have lost, every mistake you have made. They are all woven intricately into the tapestry of who you are today.
You can't just pull the thread out without unraveling the whole thing.
No, you just have to let that specific thread be part of the design without letting it dominate the entire pattern anymore.
This has been incredibly soothing. I feel like we have taken this really big, scary, confusing knot of emotion and just very gently teased it apart.
That's what the room is for.
We've labeled all the parts. This part is biology. This part is just a fantasy. This part is grief. And suddenly, the terrifying monster in the closet is just a pile of laundry.
That is the goal. To understand that the human heart is incredibly expansive. It is fully capable of holding two opposing truths at once.
You can miss them, and you can be deeply glad they're
You
gone.
can love the warm memory of them and love your current freedom so much more.
It is not a contradiction. It is complexity. And complexity is exactly what makes us interesting. It's what makes us human.
It truly is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive in the Curious Room tonight, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Something to take with them.
If you are feeling that sudden wave of missing someone tonight, maybe it's late where you are, maybe it's raining, maybe that one specific song just came on the radio, do not fight it.
Don't judge it.
Don't grab your phone and try to furiously numb it with scrolling.
Be very kind to yourself. Just imagine that feeling is a visitor knocking on your front door. You can open the door, say hello, acknowledge them. You can say, oh, hello, sadness. Hello, nostalgia.
And then gently let them leave.
Exactly. You do not have to invite them to move back in. You certainly don't have to give them a key to the house.
Allow yourself to visit the memory. Walk through the old house in your mind, smell the coffee, listen to the laughter. But just remember, you don't live there anymore.
You have a new house now.
You do, and it is waiting for you to decorate it however you want.
Beautifully said.
Thank you so much for joining us in the Curious Room tonight. We really hope you leave feeling a little lighter.
Take care of yourselves out there.
Good time.